Hey everybody, Josh RV Nerd here at Vicious RV with another Winnebago hike today. This is their little bunkhouse model, the 172BH it's called now. Back when I used to know Winnebago in a previous kind of RV life, had a little bit different number, but there have been some significant improvements to this that I really like. Since then, they've gone to Azdel. They have an enclosed underbelly with tank heaters. They've enclosed and protected the propane tanks up front, which is great. This has that whole exoskeleton, which some people have called the roll cage. I hope you never have to use it to that extent. There's a lot of really cool things in here. The interior floor plan, for the most part, is similar to what I remember, but they've gotten rid of the wet bath and gone to a full bathroom with a separate toilet, sink, and shower. Which is nice because a lot of times in little campers you don't get a separate sink to like wash your hands when you're done doing your business. Some of those things you have to wash your hands in your kitchen sink, and not everybody gets down with that sort of thing. There's some also really interesting qualities that go on this one here, like the fact that it has no rubberized roofing. Now you still have seals to take care of, but it's one piece of fiberglass from the front up to the roof all the way down the back. It's just fiberglass side, and front to back to roof to whatever. There's 3 exterior skins on this. They're an Azdel using brand now, which they weren't always before. They have been doing that for several years now, however. Got some factory solar on here to help keep the batteries topped off. It can be a little tricky when it comes to travel accessibility, but I'm going to talk a lot more about that as we go. And I'm going to kind of give you some extra food for thought in terms of like the different ways you can use the seating, the different ways that this floor plan can work. We're going to call it a bunkhouse, but that doesn't mean this only works for a family. And from years ago, I remember the predecessor to this floor plan really well. I wasn't actually really a fan of it. And truth be told, total transparency, this kind of camper really doesn't work for me personally, but that doesn't mean that I can't appreciate it. And I tell you what, I really respect the folks who watch this and say, this isn't the right camper for me, but I like what they did here or there, or perhaps this would be different. That is like, really awesome how you can, disconnect yourselves, from what just works for you, because I think a lot of people sometimes, they look at every camper like it's supposed to be the one for them. That's just not going to be the case. It's just not realistic. Like this thing, one of the things that may not work for some people in a more mainstream capacity is that it doesn't have a normal bed. Instead, what you have is this. You have a big convertible dinette. Now, I've seen some people look at a floor plan like this and say, I'll just throw a mattress on top of that. I'll just make it a bed the whole time. That's the thing about little campers like this. Everyone's going to use them a little different. Or differently, as we would say it in more proper English. And nothing says you have to use it either of those ways. You could get the table out of there and just use it like a big open lounge. Now, it is a pedestal-based table. In case you're curious, these buckle straps, Winnebago sends those with their dinettes so you can strap the table down without having to take the table down to put it into sleeper mode. What I think I would do on this little camper, though, I just take those out of the floor. I'd take their matching mounts off the base of the bottom of the table, and I'd swap out a pair of floating legs so that, I could make one table also work like an outside picnic table, because small campers, man, you have to get creative. You have to make everything be as multifunctional as possible. And the reason I like this in lounge mode, because you can just hang out here, stretch out. The corner cushions are arched a little bit, so you can just kind of lean back a little bit. And I'm never going to tell you a dinette is as good as a sofa, but if it's hot outside, you just need to retreat inside for a minute. You just got to kind of to relax, or you could kick your legs up over here, over there. I'm not going to put my feet on the cushions. Thankfully, I got long legs. Like, you could just kind of sit back and chillax with this thing, and you are straight across from the entertainment center, because your point of view that you're watching me right now is though you were the TV. Kind of like that movie, The Ring. The girl crawls out of the TV. If you watch that movie, every camera angle basically in that movie is from the position of a television in that room. The movie is her watching the people. Ah! And if we flip the script, this is what I'm looking at. So that TV is on a pivoting mount. It's interesting because not every hike gets that. Some of them, it's only a flat mounted TV. Now, I keep doing this, probably because it's not convenient, but I'm happy with the fact that they are including the privacy shade in the door. And especially a little camper like this, there's not a lot of real estate for door side windows. So from our seating perspective, I mean, per capita, they gave us a lot of glass, basically. All of our control stuff, including the switch for our holding tank heaters, is up high. And, you know, if you are going to go off grid, every ounce of energy counts. So one of the cool things here is the slide and the awning. They each have their own hard disconnect, just to make sure there's no parasitic load sucking away at those precious little watts and volts and things that we have stored up. The thing here, all of the countertops are sealed edge press membrane. This works off just 12 volt power, which is cool. A little wireless phone charging pad. Of course, I've actually got to get my phone on there the proper way. See, there she goes. Right as I pick it up, it's like, ha, I'm going to make you look stupid. And it's a little camper, so it does not have massive storage. But with the space they had available, they did what they could. What is also, Winnebago's become very good about this in their towable campers too. Putting their like converter box, fuse panel, switch box, whatever you want to call it, they've got that always just kind of nicely hidden away. And again, everything in here is a little more premium grade. The more you look at this, the more you see that like this is an Azdel camper. The walls are CNC routed. They're machine precise within 1/1000th of an inch. Up top here, because again, everything has to be multifunctional. There's just not, there physically is not room in this for a traditional oven. So they said, okay, we will give you a convection so that you theoretically could do some baking. Now you need part power or, you know, a generator to operate that. And apparently Casper the Friendly Ghost has paid us a visit to close that up. He didn't like me having it open. A couple drawers here, so you know you got, but they're shockingly deep because the kitchen is a slide out. And they do similar things like this through the Hike series quite a bit. Nice open bank of space down there. But let me get this door out of the way, because you see, like, you've got a dedicated set of kitchen drawers and a good dresser over here. However, or pantry. It could be a hanging closet or a dresser. That's another thing they've gotten really creative about, finding ways to give you the choice of having some hanging storage in these that normally little campers just, you know, can't provide. Now, I'm trying to remember what the traveling accessibility is on this one with the slide close. You know what? Instead of just talking about it, hang out with me for a minute and I'll close the slide up. Now, this is their Bunkhouse model. The bunks are 250-pound rated, by the way. And the thing here is they're bigger bunks. They're roughly like full-size beds, give or take. By the way, that's the dinette table I just left on that bunk to slide it out of the way. And remember how I said you could use the front dinette or lounge or whatever you want to call it like a bed. You don't have to. When we hear bunks, we start thinking kids and families. But again, when you're using an RV like this, we're using it a little bit differently. This could be a solo camper. These could be storage. Or you could do something like buddy camping, or, you know, camping with a friend. You could have, you know, a kid, the kid could bring a friend or something like that. You could put the dog on the lower bed. You could sleep on the upper bed. You could be a solo run around type person. There's no rules. You use this how you want to. I just thought I'd kind of spitball some ideas up there. Now, the last time I saw the predecessor to this floor plan, it had one of those awful wet baths where the toilet is the shower, or the shower is the toilet. Oh, that sounded so wrong. But thankfully, that is not the case anymore. They've gone through and redesigned pretty much all of these to give us a normal bathroom. Now, it's a small camper. There's things like, you know, I won't shy away from it. I don't fit in this shower. But again, the folks who are using a camper like this, like, I think they get it. They get that they're not at home in their fluffy king bed or whatever, you know. They get that we're making some accommodations. I will tell you, I don't care if you're right or left-handed, that is a little bit tight. So kind of keep that in mind. Other thing I like over here is this little kick of storage that they have. Basically, that's your, okay, that didn't slam. Nice. Okay, they've got little rubber stoppers on that. No, okay, cool. But that's your medicine cabinet, because they didn't want the bathroom to feel real bulky, so they just put a mirror on the wall. And now, with the slide closed, it's tight, but if you sideways step, depending on your personal size, you should still be able to get back to the bunks. But in its current setup, we're not able to get to the bathroom. However, if you open the bathroom door and leave it that way before you close the slide, you could get to the bathroom, but then you're going to lose access to the bunks in transit. So you're going to have to choose which way you go. Now, the other thing I want to mention, a short little slide like this, a Schwintek slide, is not the type of slide you should use only partially open or closed. You want to fully open it or fully close it. So again, you're kind of making a decision here. But consider this, ladies and gentlemen. This camper is only 6.5 foot wide on the body. Like the wheel wells stick out farther than that. The slide barely sticks out past that. Assuming you park even in the middle of a parking space, I don't see why you wouldn't be able to open the slide even within a parking space and be able to access this thing. And I'm just about tripping all over everything, which is why the camera lurched right there. Little things like that. Thinking, you know, because we're so used to, I think, like full 8 foot wide campers or wide body campers. When you remember the physical stature of this, which doesn't translate well just to video, you realize that there's more opportunities here than meets the eye. And that's the kind of extra info I always want to be able to give you. All right, so storage is always going to be at a premium on the outside of a camper like this. One of the things here I want to show you, though, is just kind of how deep that is by using the jack cranks as a reference. That's our solar controller over there. You might have noticed the battery disconnect switch. As we back out, we're at the front of the trailer, by the way. You see the magnet holdbacks and slam latches on all the compartment doors, all LED tail and marker lights, and let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room, the exoskeleton. Because, again, this is not a roll cage. What this is for, a couple things. First of all, brush guard. Not just brush guards down below, but what about tree branches flying toward your RV? It, you know, might prevent your trailer from having a hole poked in the front of it or something like that. It also keeps, you know, more things up away from the roof of your RV, although you do have things like a TV antenna and other stuff out there. You always want to be careful. But secondly, you want to strap stuff, kayaks, various cargo to it? Man, go nuts, and it can hold the weight of a person. If you remember the beginning of our video, I was hanging off that thing doing a little monkey climb, smiling at you like an idiot. Power jack on the front doing the heavy lifting for us. We have a propane tank enclosure, but double propane tanks, so that you can spend more time using these things. And other than running the furnace, though, they don't burn a lot. Little pockets off the side there if you wanted to put your, I don't know, little wheel chocks or something like that. Like, what would you stuff in there? Maybe little wood blocks for leveling the camper, the wheels, something like that. As we slide our way over here, because these are running on that taller wheel package, they do go with a double step. Now, this is a little interesting, but our black tank flush is actually over here. Not where I'd prefer it, but it's where it needs to be, because you really want those next to the bathroom to maximize their effectiveness. This is something this floor plan did not used to have in the history of it. Once again, apologies for the dust. You know, when you take your camper home, you're not going to see that. This is not a plumbed sink. It is just the little dog dish there, but actually, it's also a good way to get to see that that is a full sealed countertop. You do have hot and cold water, and I like how that latches in place. Little 2-burner cooktop there, and naturally you have a grill connect down below that. So if you don't want to use that, you want to use something else, man, go nuts. You do you. Over here, we have the little receiver hitch, but that's 300-pound rated. So that's a perfect place for things like bikes, a small cargo pod, because again, we do have limited cargo capacity. Actually, yeah, no, we do. I didn't mean to say that, but it is true. I forgot to mention that. This has a 4,200-pound gross vehicle weight, maximum weight, but it's only got about 600 to 700 pounds of cargo capacity. That is a serious point to keep in mind on this so that you don't end up overloading things and damaging anything. By the way, these are power jacks, which, I mean, it's cool, but it almost feels kind of like overkill. Underbelly is enclosed, and you've got 12-volt tank heaters under here as well. Also, on the face of the slide, we have an outside hot-cold utility shower, which is kind of cool. What I also want to show you, though, is what's on top, because once again, you can just spider, like, there's no ladder on it, because the whole camper's a ladder. And every one of these things you see, they've all got their cool points, they've all got a couple things to make you go, you know, little stuff like that. Like to keep the overall height down, they do use a low profile air here, which is cool. But once again, notice no rubberized roofing. You still have seals to maintain. I'm not trying to smoke screen you and say, it's maintenance free. Nonsense, still take care of it. But there's less maintenance. There's, less to deal with. Now, because of the exoskeleton, they do need to maintain the flex solar panel on here. You got to remember, though, if you go putting a ton of cargo on top of that, you're going to get less and less and less effectiveness. So always kind of plan accordingly. Now, if that panel doesn't do it for you, if you'd rather have some other solar concoction, if you'd like to mount a whole bunch of solar to the exoskeleton, I don't know that we've ever done it, but we got a team that can come up with about anything. We actually have a Winnebago here at this display where we upgraded it from 190 watts to 570. The factory doesn't offer that. We can custom build a solar package to your needs. You just kind of got to let us know. The thing is, like, how much solar do I need? To answer that, like, you can't leave me like a quick comment and I can't give you an answer. You need to call one of our team members, and we kind of have to have like a real chat, like, how are you really going to use this? How much are you going to use it? Where are you going to go? What's the weather? Like, there's a lot that goes into this. What kind of appliances and power are you going to consume? Do you want to run the air conditioner? What are your expectations here? But if you give us that opportunity, we can custom craft something that'll work exactly for what you're looking to accomplish. So thank you very much for tuning in once again. We've seen a couple of these hikes at this point. I would really love to hear from you folks. Do you want to keep seeing more of these if I can get my hands on them? I'm going to try to grab some of the new smaller hike 100s, which at the time of this filming I haven't. If you're watching this a year from now, I probably have. I don't know why I'm even talking about it. I don't know why I'm still talking to myself. Then again, like anyone else is here, I kind of just get paid to talk to myself. And yet no one's listening. So thank you as always. Let me know what you think of her. How would you use this one? Would you use it as a family camper? Solo? Couples? Dog? Pet camper? Something like that? Some kind of pet palace? You got an unusual pet like an iguana you'd take with you? I don't know. I don't know your life. Let me know. I'd love to find out, I guess. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.